I'm content creator Kerstin Olita. I empower women entrepreneurs by sharing business solutions on my show, Business Kare with Kerstin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Business Kare with Kerstin. My name is Kerstin Olita, and I am the CEO and owner of the Business Leadership Excellence Institute and also the founder of the Women's Leadership Coalition. I love helping women, and I am on a mission to help entrepreneurs stop struggling with their businesses by incorporating leadership mindset tools and bringing on guests with incredible tips and resources so we can all magnetize our success together. As we're stepping into what does success look like, today's show is about how to have balance in your presence as a lady boss. Now, as a master body language strategist, I'm always talking about balance in the body, but I also want to talk about what does it look like in the presence, in the feeling that you're giving with your presence. And I want you to think about it this way. We're going to talk about what's the balance of grace and strength in your presence. And I was very blessed to have an incredible woman in my life, my Gigi, my grandma. She was a phenomenal example of what that looks like. She always carried herself with grace, but I'm here to tell you, you didn't mess with Gigi. Okay, that was a strong woman, and she held her ground with her opinions. She held her ground with her ideas and her attitudes. But I want you to hear this, ladies. She had 8 children, and never once did I ever hear her yell. She stayed so centered in who she was. She never felt like she had to overbore anybody to get her point across. And I think that was something that impacted me greatly in understanding that my authority and my strength as a woman is staying on my, not staying in my place, staying on my core and staying and really owning that space, taking that space and letting it shine out, not feeling like I had to defend out. And again, I was so blessed to have such a beautiful example of that in my life. And I love for lady bosses to hear this because I feel like there's a lot of times we're expected to be really snarky to get our point across. And there's this whole, vision of what a lady boss is, how she's really, bossy instead of just being the boss. And I would love to encourage women, you lady bosses out there, to understand grace brings a whole level of authority to the table. And what the beauty of that is, what you're showing is when you stay in your grace along with your strength, you're showing that you're not going to be shoved to the side. You're not going to be thrown off kilter when things go right. Things are going to hit the fan. That's just how it is. That's called life. But when we stay in our core and when we stay in that core of grace and strength, we show, we're confident in who we are, how we're showing up and what we want to do. And we understand we can create an impact with that. So ladies, I want to encourage you to really take some assessment in yourself of how are you showing up with grace and strength, and what does that look like for you in your daily life, especially as a lady boss. Now, I am so excited to have an incredible lady boss who is going to be joining us today. We have Victoria Sexton. She is just a rock star. And what I love about her is, she's a self-proclaimed kitchen magician. She is the owner and CEO of Fortuna Cucina, and she is a passionate serial entrepreneur. So she's lady bossing like crazy all over the place, and she's spreading her magic everywhere. She left a successful career in finance and decided to follow her passion. And now she sells her own tea blends, which are fantastic, by the way. We'll make sure you have connection to those. And she sells them to her raving fans. And now she's teaching classes, food classes. I personally like to call it food classes for foodies, because she has an incredible palette that she brings to the table in these classes. So let's bring up this rock star, and you get to meet her right now. So welcome, Victoria. We're excited to have you here, my dear.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So we've known each other. We've been networking together for a while now, and I've heard your message, and I love your passion that you bring to the table. and your presence practice, the fact of it's just in line with exactly what we're talking about today of bringing subtlety to your presence and how powerful that is. So tell us a little bit about how that came, that idea and how you practice that for yourself.
Well, worked in corporate America for a long time. And as a woman working in a male dominated field, what I thought was so interesting and just taking a look at it from a different angle,
Hmm.
I'm sure that you and many other women have worked for guys who pound their fist on the table. It's going
Hmm.
to be done this way. And,
Yes.
you know, people don't respect you for that. They
No.
might fear you because of that, but there's not a respect. And also, think about how much energy that guy spends just with that persona and like yelling and screaming. And he may not even be making a point. One of the
True.
things I've noticed is that since I left the corporate world and since I really decided to do whatever I wanted to do,
Hmm.
and not follow anybody else's formula, is that um, I am a much happier person when I'm calm.
Right.
When I've taken that time to get it together for the day. I'm not rushing around. I'm not like, one of those people who's like very frantic almost
Mhm.
in their
Right. Hair
conversation.
frazzled. Uh,
Yes,
yes.
absolutely. Although
Yes.
the humidity did challenge me today.
Right. I feel you on that. Yeah, I have learned in the South, big hair is it's not an option. It is.
It's a thing. It's a thing. So it was really important to me that I could be that calm person that enables me to be my best.
Mm.
So I think about that a lot. And I recently got feedback from somebody, and she said, I just love your energy. It seems like nothing rattles you, which of course isn't the case. But
Right.
I loved that perception. I loved that compliment as well.
Well, and it really shows you're walking your talk with that, right? Because other people are picking up on that. And it does. It encourages other people to look at, okay, so what does that look like for me to not come across as if I'm frazzled and things are going wild and crazy, right?
Yeah.
So you are a beautiful example of that, and I appreciate that about you. And I love that you have this care tip of how to, tap into your inner wisdom. Give yourself permission to do that. And I love that your permission that you give for yourself is to ask yourself, would it be fun for me to engage in this? Whether it's a new project, get to know a new person, include a new person, whatever it is this fun? And I love that is a huge lens for your decision making. I think that's genius.
Thank you. Well, also, and I think we were talking about this the other day that, you know, when we do something that's fun, when we do something that is, like we have that energy that's like, oh, that would be interesting, right? That energy is different than, okay, well, I could make money doing that, right? And the
Hmm.
first type of energy, it's very interesting. People want to be around that, and you will
Yes.
get more business, more connections. You will have a
Hmm.
better time all around. So that's
Yeah.
really why I try to live in the world of, is it fun? Because also, like when we're doing things like that aren't fun, like taxes and maybe payroll,
Yes.
stuff like that, like
All the yucky
we all
things.
have those things to do. I think that we need to make everything else as fun as we could possibly be.
I love it. And see right there, that's a money moment that we bring out on Business Care with Kirsten. Because when you think about money, I want you to think about, are you fulfilled in making your money? And I think this is a huge part of that. Of we get so caught up in the bottom line that we forget to include ourselves on the front line, right? Like we're the main component, not the dollar signs. Yes, they're a factor. Yes, you need, making money is a beautiful thing, but it's got to be in balance, and your presence affects that so much. And you have this message out there, which is great. I'm going to bring this up again. Is you have a book? Tell us about your book.
Yes. So my book is called Effortless Money: How to Align Your Wealth and Your Woo. And I wrote this book. I was crazy and decided to leave my financial advising job. And I was a consultant for a couple of years before I became a kitchen magician. And um, I was leaving this successful job, and I just had something like a fire in my belly to share some of the things I had learned when I was working one-on-one with clients and business
Mm,
owners. And I also felt just like I had something to say about it. I had something to say about money and the whole narrative around money, because I think
mm.
women, we kind of get messed up with our money, right? And
Yes,
it can really impede us from being successful in whatever we want to do with our lives and our business.
I
So,
totally agree.
yeah, so this is more the emotional part of money, the stuff that maybe like you definitely wouldn't hear this from your accountant, right?
Probably not.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
probably not.
yeah.
But it's the other part that we need to hear about money, right? Is that emotional attachment. And I'm always saying money is an energy, right? There's an energy around money. And if we're not focused or really attentive and aware of what kind of energy we're putting around money, we could be really shooting ourselves in the foot in a big, big way. So I love that you're bringing, and the heels with the jeans and the cross leg, beautiful cover. I absolutely love this. And I'm going to make sure we have everything available for you to connect with Victoria and her book, because her messaging is so great and her food is amazing. Definitely check out her teas, because they not only speak to the palate, but they speak to the soul. So thank you so much, my dear, for being on. We appreciate you being a guest, and we'll make sure everybody can get in contact with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. All right, my dear, we're going to put you back in the green room. And isn't she lovely? And the beauty is her presence does have that very serene, calm, but that vivacious energy too. And my friends, I invite you to step into that also. So one of those areas that we have that conversation is at the Women's Leadership Coalition, where we talk about the abundance principles. And I do trainings on that, on culture, courage, and collaboration, and how that brings more abundance into your business life. Not just your business life, you can also take it into your personal life, but this is where you can get that foundation. And we do masterminds on these in our smaller groups, so they're facilitated by our facilitators Christy and Brandy, which will be coming up. So we'll make sure you also have connection to that, because these abundance principles are what women, this is what we need in leadership. Like Victoria was saying, men, they tend to lead in a little bit different way. They're very achievement oriented, which, yes, that's part of ours too. But we as women in our leadership is centered more around creation. And that's where we find abundance. And these three principles are what help bring that to life. So we'd love to have you as a part of that conversation. Make sure to check into that. And as always, we would love to have you come back for another show of Business Kare with Kerstin, which is on every Monday morning on Facebook and other social media platforms. So feel free to check in. And I want to always encourage you, when you're stepping out with your presence, now thinking about that grace, now thinking about how that is in combination, not separate, but in combination of strength, and what that looks like for you. I want to give you those 3 tips I'm going to give you every time. Make sure you take that deep breath. Make sure you smile at everybody, and make sure you find fun in your day and in every decision you make. And we look forward to having you back next time on Business Kare with Kerstin. We will see you very soon. And we're going to have one more aspect. I just want to show this. The Women's Leadership Coalition is actually going to be having its international meetings that are going to be coming up. So sorry, I wanted to make sure I mentioned that one last time before I let you go. So again, we'll see you on Business Kare with Kerstin every Monday morning. Find us on whatever social media platform you enjoy, and have a great week.
You can learn more about my services and products at www.bleinstitute.com. Make sure to join me every week on the SWE Media Network YouTube channel and wherever you listen to podcasts.